कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में इतना सा फर्क है, एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में ये अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है, वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी। ये एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, से दूर अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और 7वें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा है। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
Thank you so much, Kanika, for playing the corporate video Franchise India. A very good afternoon, all the dear friends. We, the entire team of Franchise India, welcome all of you to our webinar series, Business Opportunity with Chai. This is a 45-minute session with the brand team, and the business opportunity which we are bringing for you today comes from education. We have divided this particular session into 2 parts. First, we'll take you through the presentation and then we'll move towards a panel discussion. Hence, we request each one of you to share your queries in question and answer box. We welcome management team of Franchise India, Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am, as a team both leading this particular webinar, and they would love to take all your queries. We have created the question and answer box, so please maximize this particular session by sharing your feedback, suggestion, and questions. And the business opportunity, as I mentioned, comes from the education vertical. It's your chance to start your business with a top-rated education franchise business. Today, we are representing Brand International School of Design. From one center design school 10 years ago to now being into 19 states with over 50 centers, International School of Design is a national award-winning design school that has built a community of artists, designers, and media personalities in India. And today we have invited 2 of the important directors, Mr. Agarwal and Pranav Raj Agarwal, to talk about this brand. They're already having existence in states and cities like Mumbai, Bangalore, Delhi, Kolkata. And today they have 50 partners across. They already enjoy the status where they have graduated approximately 15,000 students. So that's the history and facts and figures about them. So thank you so much, Pranav. Thank you so much, Mr. Agarwal, for joining in today. But before I formally invite Anshul to start the presentation, I would like to invite Pranav to talk about this business opportunity. Good afternoon, Gaurav sir. We have Gaurav sir also. Sir, would you like to start with the session?
Yep. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Gaurav Maria. So welcome to another session of Business Opportunity Over Chai. This has been a series we've been running for last 2 years, almost 2 years now. We have coming close to 22nd March, the lockdown happened, and that's where the series started. And Sonia has been actually part of this series almost every day. And today we have a very special guest and a very special company joining with us. International School of Design, very successful business already, a very successful franchise network already running, and we are very privileged to have Mr. Agarwal and Pranav to be part of this webinar. I will let Sonia open up and give a little brief, and then this would be followed by a presentation, and eventually we'll take up a lot of question and answers on the webinar. Over to you, Sonia, for your introduction.
And I welcome all of you. And as I speak, I see a lot of you still joining in. I also welcome Mr. Sanjay Agarwal, the founder of the company, and also Pranav, who's a director with INSD, which is International School of Design. And as Ashna also briefed, and this is India's leading art, design, media, and a luxury school. And you should not mistake this as a fashion school, but they're a complete design school which offer courses in animation, graphics, jewelry, interiors, and all their courses are UGC approved, and they also offer dual degree programs to even diplomas. And most important part, I would also say they have credible affiliations, all global affiliations, which include some of the prominent names like International Business School in Washington, and they have even design school in London, Paris, UAE, where students get a chance to be a part of these programs, and they get a big international exposure, followed by which they also get absorbed in some of the international agencies to work, including some of the bigger names, I would say, in India too. And all their, I would say, the learning is experiential, which they offer to their students, and very industry centric and focused courses. And all that has been running in the last 10 odd years through very successful, profitable franchise centers across India. So which also means that the company has experience in diverse markets across India. And also, they have a big focus on international standards, and they keep regularly collaborating with the industry's top mind. And some of the very credible, I would say, advisors are also on the board of the company. So without taking much time, friends, I'll now request Agarwal ji to kindly start the presentation. And Pranav, if you want to give maybe a background to all our investors who have joined in before we start, would be great.
Thank you, Sonia, and thank you, Mr. Gaurav, for the introduction. Before we start, I would just like to, as Ms. Sonia already has mentioned a lot of important key details about INSD, the only thing apart from that I would love to mention is that the strongest part about International School of Design is the kind of handholding and the kind of relations that we maintain with all our partners. As you can all see that we currently already stand at 50 plus centers across 19 states in the country, along with great establishment of partnerships all across the globe. So we already have a lot of students who are getting beautiful opportunities to explore, different avenues and build great careers in this particular field. And the design, the education and the design field in India has crossed over $100 billion. And every year there is a requirement of more than 60,000 students or 60,000 trained professionals in the field of design in India. So this is a huge, huge opportunity. And INSD is playing a very small role as of now to kind of train all these students and professionals to become future entrepreneurs, future leaders, etc. So I would love for Mr. Anshul to start the presentation. And if there's any questions during or after, we would love to address them. Thank you. And thank you all for joining, by the way. Thanks.
Thank you, Pranav. Thank you very much. I will just share the screen. Okay. Right. So friends, welcome to this session. We'll be talking about INSD. Already Sonia ma'am and Pranav have already set a good context to this. We start with, telltale signs of a great franchise today, a franchise that pays for itself within 2 years, and one that is trusted by over 50 partners across the country. One that has won national award for being the best design school that offers degree programs and has alumni base in thousands. So this is what we will focus on in this presentation today, where we talk about how INSD is placed in the market, what are the highlights and USPs the company has been able to create over 10 years of its presence in the country, right? So we've divided this presentation into 4 parts. We first look at what is the opportunity or a career in design. Then we have a section on INSD overview. We look at go-to-market approach, where company is now moving from doing direct unit franchises to more of Master Franchise and Multi-Unit Franchise Association. And then, of course, a section on franchise proposal, right? So we start with first the India opportunity. So friends, as you would see, design of late, and especially with MNC companies coming in the country, I'm not on mute, yeah. With many international companies coming in, there's been a lot of focus on getting the right skill set, proficient and skillful manpower who can match the industry requirements also from a design point of view, right? And over the years, we have also seen that career scope in design has evolved from just not fashion design, but into other verticals as well, right? And that's what we will see in this presentation. Yes. So what started with fashion design, and we when we think design, we think about NIFT, which is mainly doing fashion design work. But now we have many other companies, many other education institutions who are now focusing on jewelry, accessories, interior designs become very important, graphic design and animation, web designing, and then many other smaller verticals which have come in, right? And as you can see, all these opportunities are there in the market today. And I can tell you, all these options, job opportunities, they are very well paid jobs which are available in the market today, right? Especially with large companies who are focused on getting the right designs for their products and everything. This is becoming a very exciting career opportunity for youngsters today, right? On that note, we move to our second chapter, which is talking about what INSD is all about today, right? So INSD started in 2011 by Mr. Sanjay Agarwal, one center at that time, and today they operate 50 plus centers across 19 states in the country. And in terms of the program offering, it is not only bachelor's, master's, and diploma plus some. There are also a list of short-term programs also. But if you look at the industry coverage, that's also massive. Starting from fashion, interior, jewelry, textile, graphic design, and the companies also started doing programs in animation as well. So one of the companies in this category which is offering the widest portfolio of design programs, and this we will talk about more in the next few slides. So first, some real data: 19 plus states, 50 plus centers, 15,000 students have graduated from INSD already. So that's it. And these are real data. These are data on ground. And then the franchise model also, you will see the break even is well within 2 years, which we will talk about once we come to the franchise proposal part. Right. So in terms of the market presence today, we have listed some top 15 design schools in the country, including the likes of NIFT and Pearl Academy in Delhi and a couple of other major names, JD institutions from Mumbai. But most of these competition players have limited presence, which means they have up to about 10 centers in the country. While INSD operates 50 plus centers, 19 plus states. So that's one of the largest network that company has created in this market. Similarly, onto the next slide, you will see INSD offers widest portfolio of design program and at a very affordable, attractive price points, which is and these fees in the last column that you see. This is the total fee for a bachelor design program, which typically is a 3-year program, right? So INSD would operate around 5 lakh rupee, while most of the other competition players are well above that figure, right? And in terms of the course coverage also, companies present almost is offering almost all the programs that is there available, right? So in that sense, a very sustainable market positioning, mid-segment operator offering a vast portfolio of courses, and falls in a very busy segment where you see a lot of competition, but because of the credibility, because of the nature of program that companies have been able to create and offer in the market, it's a very sustainable position that company has captured today and continues to grow on that. Right. So what is an exciting value proposition for students? So INSD is the only design school in India that offers 6 premium programs. You saw, fashion, jewelry, interior design, accessories. There is animation, graphics. So a complete list of all the options available that are there in the market, right? There's also option to do bachelor's program, a master's program, diploma program, or a multiple other short-term programs. So from a student's point of view, depending on the interest and his affordability, he can choose one of the programs and can get started, right? Company is also coming up with an international degree program, which is available from this session onwards. INSD also do a regular student exchange every year from students from Dubai, from Washington in US, London, and Paris. So one of the semesters, the student is able to spend time in one of these international markets. So that's very exciting, and that's what has captured the interest of students very well. So INSD advisory board, Pranav is there himself, then Divita, and some of very established international names in design field are also part of the advisory board and the overall team structure that INSD has. So what is the advantage company is able to bring? Workshops, international guest faculties, fashion shows. So which means, the student gets direct access to fashion show and showcase their work. Study abroad programs in France, UK, US, Canada, and UAE, which we discussed earlier. Accredited degree and diploma programs from French and American Board of Education, international fashion weeks, and hands-on learning. So this, puts together a very exciting proposition for students to consider joining INSD. Right. So this brings us to our third section, which is now what is the approach company wants to take going forward. Having already established 50+ unit franchises in the country, what is the plan going forward? Okay. So INSD now plans to expand by master franchise approach, which means a company would be looking at setting up these master franchisees. We have defined equal opportunity clusters with the potential to do 10 centers each. And we'll talk about those clusters also in the next few slides. Each cluster to be led by one master franchisee, and master franchisee pays upfront a master fee of 30 lakhs and an overall investment of 40 lakhs. We'll get to the details also. And then the royalty sharing of 75-25 and a marketing fee share of 50-50. So more on this in the next few slides, but as a summary, looking at a master franchise partner, heading a territory with the potential to do 10 centers each, right? And this would be an area master franchise association. So overall, go-to-market approach would be a mix of direct units, which INSD would put together directly unit franchise. We would also look at 2 other verticals, that is master franchising. So the master franchise partner would be required to set up 1 or 2 centers himself, and then he will be allowed to do some franchising. While we're also keen to look at a multi-unit franchise association here. So multi-unit franchisee means one partner doing multiple centers in the assigned territory, right? And that is also a very exciting opportunity here. Most of our existing franchise partners who've been with us for 3, 4, 5 years, they're now looking at getting into second, third, fourth centers also. Right. So this is what we have put together as indicative equal opportunity clusters. If you look at East, for example, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, and Bihar. So put together, this we believe gives us an opportunity to do 10 centers. Similarly, if you look at Madhya Pradesh, for example, in West, so cities like Indore, Bhopal, Jabalpur, Gwalior, Jhansi, Ujjain, these 5, 6 cities put together can easily give you 10 centers, right? Similarly, in North India, if you look at, we have clubbed Haryana, Punjab, Himachal Pradesh, and Jammu Kashmir, which together can easily give you 10 centers potential in this zone, right? Especially if you look at Mumbai, Thane, and Navi Mumbai, that's a huge market. And we believe there could be a potential for 2 master franchises to come in this zone. That is Mumbai, Thane, and Navi Mumbai. Already Mumbai company has 5 centers running, and there is potential to do another 15 covering these 3 markets together. So this is our indicative list. Depending on your interest and your market, we're always in a position to create a cluster as per your location and your interest of area. Right. So this brings us to our 4th section, which is franchise proposal now. So first, what is the partner value proposition that we want to bring? India, of course, is a young country and a growing affluence. Market is brimming with exciting new opportunities and strong growth we've seen in design field. Many international companies, they want to look at a skilled manpower to do the right product design and get the right thing out in the market, right? And that's what brings us to brand strength. Company with its portfolio of programs, experience of over 50 centers already, 10 years of experience in the market, almost 15,000 students graduated from the setup. So that's a huge advantage that company is able to bring to the new partners that would join now. And you would see in the next few slides also that most of the partners, existing partners, are with INSD for a good number of years, 3, 4, 5 years is an average period that each of these partners have stayed with the company, right? Partner benefits, it's a growing opportunity. As I said, the demand for design is growing. Low investment model, and you would see the overall investment is only about 15 lakh rupees, and it's a very high return business. High revenue grossing courses in design. All 6 categories that we're catering to have a significant demand in the market. Average fee that we're talking is about 1 lakh rupee per year, and that makes it very interesting financially for our franchise partners. Very attractive unit financials, so you get an ROI within 12 to 15 months. So that is also there. End-to-end support, complete handholding by the company. So their experience of over 50 franchises now, and we have streamlined, we have fine-tuned all our support functions, and we can bring that to our next few partners also. Centralized marketing support and also extensive support for enrollment. So what we've done is on our website, when somebody logs in and is looking for enrollment, so we get to know the location that person is looking for, right? And automatically that lead is transferred to the nearest franchisee to take care of that lead and enroll that student, right? So that's the kind of support we want to extend to our next partners also. So in terms of getting started now, we're looking at a typical space of 2,000 to 3,000 square feet, which is split as shown. This could be a semi-commercial, commercial property, prime footfall area, easy connectivity so students can come in, conveniently. But this need not be, a very prominent, very expensive location also, right? So this can be a first floor, second floor property as well. In terms of the unit economics, as I said, you see the chart with the fee structure. The diploma programs are valued at 86,000 annual fee. Then bachelor's program is at 98,000, and master's program is at 104,000, which is a 2-year program. So 104,000 is an annual fee, right? We have shown some indicative numbers here. So year one, and this is the performance that most of our franchise partners have been able to generate. Looking at 65 students in year one, which takes you to 65 lakhs collection. Similarly, year two, we can go to 120, 130 students, then 180 students. So ideally, by year three, you should be able to reach an annual fee collection of around 2 crores. Right. Total investment of 16 lakhs, which means 10 lakh rupees on center fit out, 6 lakh rupees is the franchise fee, and 1 lakh rupee is a pre-opening marketing budget, which is very important component at the time of starting a new center. This 1 lakh rupees is very, very important in terms of getting the initial enrollments in place, right? So overall, a 16 lakh rupee investment. Sorry. And a potential to get to about a 2 crore collection by year 3 or so, right? This is a high margin business, and you can expect 35-40% net margin in this very conveniently. Okay. So who's our good fit partner? And this we are saying this is our existing 50 partners. Most of our franchise partners have come from ideally 2 backgrounds. One is, of course, the design background. Somebody with a strong interest or panache for designing has been a good franchise partner for us. So interior designers, fashion designers, architects. And second is education background. So somebody coming from education or training background with underutilized facilities can easily convert to become an INSD school. So these two, remain preferable segments. Not to say that other profiles cannot be a good franchise. People with interest in education can be a very strong franchise partners with us also. But these two is what we have seen, have done well. So we have also seen HNI investors, with keen interest in education sector, always welcome to join. So in terms of our support function now, pre-launch, we work with you, our teams would work with you to set up guidance, artwork and design, vendor tie-ups, recruitment support and training. At this post-launch phase, we work with you for academic support, training, examination and certification, placement guidance, again a very important component, placement guidance, and operational support. While as an ongoing practice, we continue to work with you in terms of marketing guidance, so you continue to generate enrollments, academic development support, management information system, so that enables you to operate the center very efficiently, R&D and quality control support, and digital media assistance. So a very well defined and executed support program, fine-tuned, streamlined over these 5-6 years of our franchise association, over 50 centers. So you can be rest assured of best support assistance from our side. So this is what we also want to talk about. One of our partners in Mumbai, has been a partner with us for 3 years now, and she's been talking about setting up a second, third unit also within Mumbai itself. Well supported and well guided in terms of the business. So existing franchise partners keen to add second, third units now, and that's what we want to talk about. Also, very important, if we truly care about our partners' bottom line, and that's what you would see Mr. Parekh, who's been with us for 4 years now as a franchise Mumbai. Then Mr. Khatri is a Raipur Center franchise, been with us for 5 years now, and is doing great. Similarly, Ms. Rao, more than a 5 years association, running a center in Mumbai. So all these partners are also keen to add, like Amita ji before, they're very keen to start second, third centers also now in their markets. Right. So that's Mr. Sanjay Agarwal, founder. So that should bring us to the end of this session. Yeah. Yes, please.
Thank you, Anshul. Thank you very much for a detailed presentation. So what we will do is, friends, is we'll start the Q&A round, and this is the most interesting part of the webinar, where you get an opportunity to ask as many questions you want to do that, because whenever you're taking a decision of investment, a lot of things come in your mind in terms of how the performance of the business has been, how it could work for you in your city, because every city is unique, every city opportunity is unique, competition is unique. So please use the Q&A box and keep asking as many questions. And please also introduce yourself, because a lot of people are already there, both on this webinar and Facebook Live. And Franchise India has a very large community which is watching this webinar. So its purpose is that if you're really able to get information, if you have some infrastructure, which means that you already have some place which can become a center, you have owned that place, because a lot of people come to us and say, I have 2,000 square feet or 3,000 square feet, which I want to use, especially if you have a second floor, first floor kind of a utility, which is fine for educational institutes. That also share with us so that we know where you have that infrastructure for expansion. So let me begin with giving our relationship, and our relationship goes back with Mr. Agarwal. I have seen the journey of the brand. I've seen how they have really started and over the years have emerged as a leader. But one thing which have always impressed me about him is that he has always thought and designed this business model, which is a very partner-friendly model. I had an opportunity to work with a lot of coaching institutes, test prep institutes, design companies, fashion institutes, and so on and so forth. Almost everybody really thought about how their brand should go around and always build models which used to cost a lot to franchise. The good part about his model is that he's built a very efficient model. Efficient, which means that it has the right capabilities to attract right students and give them a quality education. But it's not done anything which really takes away too much of capex from franchisee. So if you really see the business model and compare with any other institute, I don't want to name other institutes, they would cost you 1 crore, 1.5 crore, 2 crore sometimes, because they try to push franchisees to put a lot of money, unwanted monies, whereas they have actually created a model which is a very strong and very controlled capex. It's a very low cost franchise model, which ideally it should be, because you need to really spend where it needs to be spent. You need to spend on content, you need to spend on affiliations, you need to spend on right kind of teachers, but you should not spend on floorings and the and the chandeliers and likes of them for an education institute. And that's where I think they have really kept it. And that's why the business model becomes extremely profitable. And the good news is that 50 plus franchisees they have are super profitable, all are happy. And one thing, when I met him recently and I said, why don't you getting into franchise? He said, look, I was waiting for this COVID period because I wanted first my franchisees to sustain. I don't want to really bring in new franchisees, but I would like to see that my current franchisees continue to make money, which they sustain. And another good news is that he told me that the best answer can be done if you tell any of your investors to go to any of my franchisees and talk and say how this has worked for you. Now, this is very difficult for any franchisor to say that, because every franchisor has a mixed performance. Very few franchisors come in which have a solid ground performance. They have a solid, happy franchisees who are doing extremely well. Like, for example, they have a franchisee in Pune, which has a record performance. It's a record performance. If you are in Pune, you can go out and see this entire thing. Bombay center is doing well. Every center, their own center in Delhi is a rock star performance. So we're very happy for this association. And I also feel that there are a lot of other advantages. And I'll start with the first advantage, which comes in the name itself. If you see, unlike other fashion institutes, they are International School of Design. So design is a very broad subject and a very large thing. Everything needs design. From fashion to automobile, everything needs design. So being a design institute, they have a huge possibilities to really continue to bring programs which can fit design capability. And design demand is only going to grow in this country because of as people would become more aware, as aesthetics would become very big part of you, design is there to stay. And there are very few design institutes in the world which have those capabilities to bring different programs. So my question was starting with, and Agarwal ji, aap hi le sakte hain, or you can take it, or Pranav, you want to take it, either of you can decide to answer this. I would like our audience to know what are the programs which we are offering, and what are the key programs, and what is the division of these programs, right? What is the percentage of students which come in, and how, as we were discussing, this is so spread that you are able to maximize even the time share. You know, some people come in that particular time and some people can come in different time. So how they are able to do that, and short-term, long-term programs, and then we get on to question, because very important, while presentation is there, but if we can now give the little information on what are the key programs which we have.
Yeah, Mr. Pranav, I think you can answer this one.
All right, sure. All right, so thanks, Mr. Gaurav. Right. So when we talk about the main programs that we are offering to, the programs on the INST portfolio, the most important, I would say, the most grossing programs are fashion design, interior design, and graphic design, right? And why that is because the most amount of need or the dearth of designers in the country are for these fields, right? As we all understand, the wedding industry or the fashion industry is ever growing, right? Because as the population grows, as the demands grow, fashion design is never ever going to be out of the context, right? So fashion design is one of our key programs, right? But more than fashion design, and of course, interior design as well goes hand in hand, because again, right, as the population is growing, as the real estate market is growing, as the residential and the commercial market is growing, the requirement for good interior designers is also going to just increase, right? And but apart from that, one of our key programs that we are really focusing on today is the graphic design and animation program. Why? Because as we all know that COVID has seen a great change in the kind of lifestyle and the kind of work that companies have started requiring of their employees, and mainly it is work from home, right? Because we never know when this COVID situation is really going to end, and how is it going to happen in the coming few years. So what has happened is that graphic designers especially have become freelancers today, right? They're not just working with one company, but they're working with multiple companies, and they're able to take their monthly salaries from, say, 30,000 to crossing 1 lakh rupees a month, right? So what happens is that when you become an institute that is offering these kind of programs, you start attracting a very good and diversified kind of student strength, right? So what that means is, now coming to the economics of how a franchisee will see the number of students coming in if you start it in your city, right? On an average, you can expect somewhere close to between 25 to 30 students to come in the first year itself in all these three high revenue grossing courses, right? So let's say, for example, you start with fashion, interior, and graphic. And in the first year itself, even if you have 20, 25 students or maybe 30 students in each of the batches, even then you're touching a total of 90 students to begin with, right? And as we discussed, as Mr. Anshul had mentioned, that even if you touch a 60, 65 student strength in your first year itself, you are easily on a profitable graph, right? So, anything over that, anything over and above is actually it makes your ROI, extremely profitable and your business extremely profitable, right? Apart from that, now this is the main high revenue grossing courses that we have. Apart from that, we have jewelry design, we have photography, we have beauty, hair and makeup. So the idea is that the portfolio is so big, right, that when you can decide and you can choose what you want to start in your own city depending on the kind of demand that you see, right? So in some cities, in some states, beauty and hair and makeup is a big thing, right? So in Delhi especially, or in the northern states, right, makeup and beauty is extremely high in demand, and you must have seen a lot of beauty institutes come in, and they're doing a great very well. So you can always start that, or you can start interior design. So what the beauty of this is that you don't have to start everything at one shot, but you really can just judge the demand of in your city and then decide accordingly. And of course we help you do that, and we have our team who's doing a proper R&D and understanding the demand and everything. So it is a hand holding and a complete support that we provide, and that's Mr. Maria, so that's the beauty of the kind of portfolio that we have, that all of these programs are extremely well in demand, but the franchisees have this opportunity to decide what they want to start with, and then as and when they grow, they can always introduce new programs.
So if I understand Pranav well, so what they've done is that they have anchor programs. Anchor programs are much, I think, career-oriented programs, and they are very strong and a very large demand in every market, which can be fashion, interior design, and animation. These are three big anchor programs, big ticket drivers, big fee drivers, and then they have a lot of value-added programs which come in. It can be small short-term programs of photography, which also are skill and professional programs where you can get opportunities in that. But these are smaller programs. And as a franchisee, you obviously have three anchor programs, but you can add a lot of other programs which give you better margin from the same real estate. The problem in a lot of training institutes I have seen, because they're too dependent on one program, and for reasons a particular season, they don't have too much of demand on that, they would have not so much of recruitment. When you are very well balanced, like what Pranav said, in COVID, animation design has become a very big industry. Everybody can just buy a system and work from home and do a lot of freelancing, and a lot of opportunities have come in for aggregating. You can sit in India and work for a client in Australia, and you can still be paid, and there is a lot of opportunities. And the future of skilling is like that. Future of skilling is that people have to be skilled on a particular thing, and then there are limitless they can go in, because now technology gives you ability to work simultaneously on multiple projects. Rather, if you are qualified in US or Europe, you don't have to really take a job. Today, if you're skilled on something, you just would enroll yourself in different platforms and do that. So it's becoming more and more interesting going forward, because a lot of people want that freedom. They want to be skilled, that industry can observe them, and these are very strong. Like if you become an interior design program, then you can practice as an interior designer. You don't have to really look at a job. So that also opens up an opportunity, because in tier 2, tier 3, where the job opportunity might not be clearly visible, there is still an opportunity to do your own thing. You can still practice yourself and be very, very successful. If you do a fashion course, you can start a fashion boutique. If you do a program in interior, you can start interior businesses. So it's becoming more and more preferred. A lot of people want to be skilled. So this takes me to the second question, which is very important. And friends, this is a very important question for all of you to also understand where you make money. You make money on the fees you drive. And I will let Pranav talk about the fees. What do you charge? Our fees is how your fees are done, and what are the duration of programs. And if you can, Pranav, go into even further detail, because a lot of people come to us and they think that what is the competition for them in that market, and how you are even more competitive for your competition in terms of how you are able to really not only work them but lead in that markets for that. So any answers you would like to give on that?
Absolutely, absolutely. So again, wonderful question. It's very important for all the investors to, really understand. First thing is that INST was not formed to, be an institute that is only present or relevant in the metro cities, but we really started out to be able to expand our network into the corners of the country, right? And what actually corresponds to that is the kind of fee structure that we have put into place, right? So even if you take a look at our fee structure, we have three kinds of programs, right? We have diploma programs, degree programs, and international degree programs, right? And within the degree programs, we have bachelor degree programs as well as master degree programs. So in all, you have 4 different offerings that you are able to, offer to a student as part of the INST network, right? So starting with the diploma program, we are priced at a very mere 86,000 rupees, right? And that is a 1-year program, right? Then moving on to the bachelor's program, the annual fee that we charge for a bachelor's program is 98,000 rupees, which is a degree program. And for a master's degree program, we are charging 1,04,000 rupees per annum. And for the international degree programs, the fee slightly gets, increased. Why? Because we are bringing in international partners. We are talking about tuition fee that is also paid out to the competitors and the partners across the globe. So there is a slight increase in the fee that happens. Again, that really depends on the affordability of the student. But coming back to all the local courses that we are offering, you will see that if you do a comparison chart, if you draw a comparison chart with the competitors across the industry, you would see that we are placed only at a 5% lower fee structure rather than a 5% higher fee structure, even though we have the kind of luxury or the liberty to be able to charge higher, given our kind of international partnerships that we have, given the kind of industry partnerships that we have, given the kind of faculties that come in and train. We have few of the best names in the industry, not just from India but also from the globe, who are interacting with our students and giving good opportunities to our students. But even then, we are not charging that kind of fee that becomes unaffordable for the students, because we don't have a different fee structure in Delhi or in Bombay or in Bhopal or in Bhilai, right? Our fee structure remains the same across the country. So what that helps any franchisee in is that it diminishes the kind of bad competition that can happen between 2 or 3 franchise partners also, right? Because a student goes anywhere and you will have the same structure, the same infrastructure, the same kind of offerings and the same kind of fee structures that are in place. So it becomes a very unanimous and unilateral system that we follow, and the offerings remain the same all throughout. So, whichever city you actually start your franchisee in, you offer these programs at a very, very affordable structure, while offering few of the biggest and the best names in terms of brands, in terms of universities, and in terms of offerings that your students are getting. So it's a win-win situation for any and every investor, as well as the student, to kind of come and study at International School of Design. So that is the whole idea or a gist of how and why we kind of have affordable fee structures. Idea is not to take the money from the pocket of the student and put it in our pockets. The idea is to give them great quality education, and we talk about volumes, right? We don't talk about very niche programs. We talk about volume programs, which is why we kind of have entered into the fashion, interior, graphic space, because there's a huge demand of these kind of courses, and this demand can only be fulfilled if our fee structures are at an affordable level.
Absolutely, very well said. And friends, if you have noticed that the annual fees is ranging from 86,000 to going a lakh and plus, so which means that we are talking about 7,000 to 8,000 rupees minimum per student per month. So if you see the programs which they have done, and if you do a basic back of the card calculation, if you get 100 students also, your revenues would be 7 to 8 lakh rupees a month. And that really makes it very, very financially attractive, because it's still a smaller footprint, a very low rental. If you are, say, tier 2, with the space which you have, you might get a place for 50,000-60,000 rupees now. And if you do other cost, which is your manpower and other things, it becomes a very extremely profitable business model. And that's the uniqueness about this. So I would say why I like this business model: one, it is spread. It doesn't have one program which can create risk. Second, all these programs are skilling programs which people can use and make money, so they don't mind paying that fee. Third, it is a small footprint. It's not a very big footprint. You're not putting a big college or big cost or a large capex and so on and so forth. You use a relatively small capex. And when I spoke to Agarwal ji, he said very importantly, what we want is maybe the reception and the entrance to be really grand, because it gives experience. And rest, students need simple classrooms where they really work, because they are with their peers. They're not showing anything to anybody outside. So that's the opportunity. And they really spend on a lot of content, a lot of curriculum. And that's my next question. And then I'll pass it on to Sonia, because Sonia, if you want to really pick up all the other questions. And friends, this is your chance to really ask right questions. I'll take one question, which is a little more on the talent which you need to train. And Atul ji, हमारे बहुत senior member हैं from West. He's asking a question that in terms of talent, how do you really spot people in talent? And do you get good talent in tier 3 if you open up in, say, Jhansi? How would you address the talent to train further on this entire thing? And that's a very valid question, because it really is probably the only area where a franchisee would think कि चलो मैंने खोल तो लिया, लेकिन कल मुझे लोग नहीं मिले तो मैं कैसे चलाऊंगा? Yeah.
True.
I would like to answer this question. So when we talk about the training, which is definitely the most important part in any education setup. So how we have done it so far, I'll explain you that. Suppose we are talking about a center in, let's say, Andhra Pradesh, and the name of the place is Kalaburagi. No, we have a current setup there. So when we started a center in Kalaburagi, the total population of that place must be about 2.5 lakhs in all. So we were kind of in a question mark that how are we going to get the trained faculties, and how are we going to get the trained personnel to run the courses and to educate the students properly. So we have a very simple system of recruitment and training. So how do we do that is that once we have identified the location, we have identified the team, we've identified whom we are going to work with. After signing the MOU with the particular person, we give a joint advertisement in that particular state, not that particular city. There is a lot of dearth of, you can say, trained professionals in the country. So how do we go about that is that whosoever has done a proper program in that particular segment, suppose we are looking for teachers in the most grossing programs are fashion, interior, and graphic design. So just to quote an example, I will tell you how to get teachers for these particular 3 programs in a tier 3 city. So we take out an advertisement which goes throughout that particular state, right? So anybody who's done a master's or a bachelor's in those particular segments is a teacher for us to make a start. Because when we are starting a new center, we are going to, everybody's going to start from scratch, right? The first year and 2 years, the first 2 years are the foundation years for any setup and for any student. So that's how we make a start, by employing people from that particular region or that particular state who may come in that particular city, start staying there and start giving their training programs and start giving their services. So that is how we've never had a problem. I'll quote examples to give you a clear picture on what I'm talking about. We have centers like in a place like Hisar, we have a center in Bhilai, we have a center in Kalaburagi. Why I'm only talking about tier 2, tier 3 cities is just to give you a practical example on how we are doing it as of now. Because it's very important for all the new people or the new partners, prospective partners, to understand that this is not a too technical course, right? We are talking about a course like fashion, जिसमें हम student के skill develop कर रहे हैं, उसको सिलाई कढ़ाई सिखा रहे हैं, उसको garment presentation सिखा रहे हैं. Then we talk about interior design, where we tell them how to make a layout and know how to make a bedroom design, how to make a farmhouse design or a commercial design, which can be learned very easily. Then when we talk about graphic design, we are talking about softwares, very easy softwares like AutoCAD, CorelDRAW, Adobe Photoshop. These are very basic softwares when we look at the industry where it's reached now. But the point is that we are talking about a large population in India which is unskilled. If you actually look at the size of this market, it is such a huge market that at the moment, if we enroll 15,000 students a year, the target is to have at least 3 to 4 lakh students every year who can come and study these programs. Imagine 6 premium courses, and you divide those courses into 6 different parts. And if you get, let's say, 50,000 students in one program throughout the country, even then you have 3 lakh students. So that is the kind of the size and the potential of the market that we are talking about. Why we, Mr. Gaurav, thank you, Mr. Gaurav, for appreciating the project and the way we presented it, and why we've been very investor friendly, and why we have been very close to our partners throughout this journey is because of one main reason. We never started this setup, or we never started this company to make money. If we had thought about making money, we couldn't have kept the fees or the total project cost as 15 lakh or 16 lakhs. It would have gone to 1 CR, 2 CR, 3 CRs, like my other players, my other friends in the industry are doing. But we wanted to reach out to each and every corner of the country, and we wanted to make money together with our partners, not just for ourselves, but for all our partners. Mr. Gaurav just mentioned about a center in Pune. They started in 2018. They started with one center in Kothurud. In 2019, they came back to us that, sir, we want to start another center in an area called Deccan, which is very expensive and which is very high potential area in Pune. In Kothurud, in first year, they made about 120 students. And 2019, they started a center in Deccan. 2020, sadly, COVID came in. 2020, 21, sadly went through COVID. But at this moment in 2022, January, when we are sitting here and talking to you, the enrollments for 2021-22 batch in Deccan and Kothurud is 436.
Yeah, 436 makes a lot of good money.
436 enrollments in a time like this. So the only thing which I want to mention, or want to kind of tell you all, is that we are not here to make money for ourselves only. We work as a family, and that is why I hate to address them as franchisees. I always call them partners in progress. If you read my emails, if you read my WhatsApp chat messages, which we send to our center owners, it is always dear partner, dear partner, dear partner. So that is how we address them, and that is how we feel from inside that we are part of a one big family, and we are all growing together and making this country more literate, more skill friendly, and also having a kind of money making thing for ourselves. Because if you're working for a cause and you're making money out of it, it's no crime. So we are doing good for them, and in return, they are doing good for us. So friends, the idea behind this particular webinar, or the idea behind this particular talk today, is that we had worked very traditionally so far, right? And you will be very surprised to know that these 50 centers which we made in the last 5-6 years, we never advertised ourselves too much. You will be very, very kind of surprised to know this. This was mainly through word of mouth. Most of our centers, they started adding more centers, or their friends or their relatives started adding more centers in future. So that is how we reached here where we reached today. But we see a huge potential in this business, and that is why Mr. Gaurav's team and our team, we are now going to work together to have 250 centers of International School of Design in the next 3 years. So that is the aim, and that is the kind of potential we have. And the only thing that I can assure my future partners is that we will always work as a family. If you pick up your phone and call me at 10:30 in the night, your call will be the first call which we take. And that is what we've always done. We've always make you stand as our first priority. Our partners have always been our first priority. Over to you, Mr. Gaurav.
That's actually the most valuable thing in any franchise business network, because it's not that things will not be difficult, things not would be challenging, it would require innovation, it would require evolving, but if you work as one team and everybody thinks about winning together, the program is always successful. And I've always seen people who are great leaders like you, Mr. Agarwal, who has always led from front. They have never shied away reaching out to their potential franchisees, talking to them, understanding where they are. And now with all the established, you are absolutely pegged on high growth structure. So quickly, I will pass it on to Sonia because she has the maximum questions, but I've taken a lot of time on this webinar. So over to you, Sonia, for your questions.
I think we've kind of covered many questions, but I'll quickly take, in the interest of time, because we've already touched one. And this question I saw coming from many investors also. And I like something, and if you look at the sector, there's enormous demand for creativity and design, and there's a big demand in the industry, which Agarwalji mentioned about. And the demand and the numbers are actually growing every year. And India being a very important market for MNCs, it provides plenty of opportunity for graduates in the sector. And also there has been a change in design. Earlier it used to be vocational, but it has now, the way it is being consumed is more professional model of education, which is similar to, people taking up engineering and other such courses. So, I'll take a question which is on the unit economics, and I see that coming from a couple of investors also. Pranav, if you can answer that. And this is typically, on the perhaps on what outlet can make, and we did talk about 1 crore as annual revenue from a center. And another thing which I remember from the last conversation we had with Sanjay ji, he mentioned it's very important also to understand that there's a rollover business, because the same students go in the next year, and there's a rollover business that comes in. But and also another interesting thing also, which came and I was also going and listening, we have about 400 students in a center in Pune, and there's a possibility and opportunity for even adding more because the potential is high, but it only takes maybe about 35-40 students only to make the center profitable, which is the beauty of the business. So would you want to comment on what kind of expenses it takes, and how many students ideally the center should get maybe in the first quarter, second quarter, to be able to touch that number of once a year by the end of the year?
Yeah, definitely, Ms. Sonia. Thank you for making such a great explanation. And as you rightly said, that this being a highly grossing revenue, high revenue grossing areas. So the idea is that when a center starts in a city, particular city, we always recommend them to start somewhere around January, February, March. The reason behind making this decision is that usually our major target audience is the 12th standard students, the students who pass their 12th standard. So around March, they have their final examinations. So if a center makes a decision to start a center around March or April, maybe, because our admission cycle is throughout the year. That is also very few colleges in the country have this particular cycles. Usually everybody takes the June intake only, and then they close the admissions by by November or December. So what happens is that by December or November, December, whatever intake they got, that is their only revenue. The beauty at International School of Design is that we have two cycles of admission. One we call the academic session, which is from June to June. And when the other one we call is the calendar session, which is from January to January. So what happens is, suppose, as I quoted the example, that suppose a center starts their operations in the month of February or March. In the month of April, they will start doing the registrations. The students, just after passing the 12th standard, they will start enrolling or coming to your center to inquire about the programs and start enrolling for their programs, registrations and everything. So how do we attract more registrations is that we tell the students that around May or June, the fees is usually going to be hiked by 2 or 3%. So if you want to make a registration, take a quick decision, like you have early admissions, and then you have normal admissions, and then you have last minute admissions. So in the month of March and April, we start doing our early admissions, which is the first set of admissions or the first round of admissions. So what happens is that by the time a a center starts doing registrations from, let's say, March or April to June, they already have touched a figure of 25 to 30. And how do I come out with this figure of 25, 30 is that even if we target the three main courses, which is fashion, interior, and graphic, and they get only 10 enrollments each in each of these three courses, they reach a score, the target of 30 students by the end of June. So the peak admissions start from June, the peak admissions. That is where all the universities come out with their examination application forms, and students are rushing towards all the universities to take admissions in those universities. So the next set of admissions is done by those students who do not get a preferred university of their choice while applying for admissions. Suppose you're targeting Stephens, or you're targeting Hindu College, or you're talking XYZ College, which is the best in your city, right? But you are not able to get admission there. So the second round for admission starts from June to October. This is the time where you do not get a college of your choice, and you have an alternative college, which is mostly International School of Design in most of the cities now. So the next intake is from June to, let's say, October, which is another set of, let's say, 25 or 20 students, let's say, to be very practical and realistic. So by the time you reach October, you've done an enrollment of, let's say, about 45 to 50 students on the bare minimum side. So from October to December, this is the time when you feel, yeah, time to nikal gaya, admission liya nahi kahin par, ab kya hoga? Ek saal kharab ho gaya. So that is the time when the students start getting panicky and they rush to colleges ke yaar jahan admission milta lo or study karo padhai. So that period is another period which we target to tap those inquiries which did not commit themselves or which did not get converted. So from October to December, we get another set of, let's say, 15 or 20 students who enroll in. The story doesn't end here. By the end of December, you have already enrolled students from April to December, which is a good number. Let's say you reached a figure of, very realistic figure of 50, 60, let's say, for example, right? And the moment you reach December, your next session is on the cards, that is the January session. So usually in the January session, who comes in? The students who had decided to take some experience in the college of, the college which they chose to get in, and the students who chose a wrong course. Suppose you had interest in fashion or graphics or interiors, but you took economics honors as your program in your, bachelor's, right? And by the end of December, you feel कि यार ये तो फंस गए, ये तो economics honors में admission ले लिया, but समझ तो कुछ आ ही नहीं रहा. So from January to again April, we have our January calendar session, which goes from January to January. So another set of 25, 30 students for a new center I'm talking about, which is not popular at all in that particular city. So we get another set of students, which we get in January to April session. So if you calculate in all, and don't forget here, I have taken only 3 programs as the top revenue grossing programs: fashion, interior, and graphics. If I give you an example, out of the 8,000 students who got enrolled this year at International School of Design, out of 8,000 students alone, graphic design has more than 3,500 students in this year. I'm talking about 21, 22 batch. So that is the kind of student numbers we are talking about, because just by spending a lakh of rupees, Sonia ma'am, the fees for a preschool, if you send your child to Mother's Pride or a small preschool, or a well-known preschool, you pay 7 to 8 grand as a monthly fee for your 2-3-year-old child. And here you are doing a degree program in just a lakh of rupees. And here you're doing a master's program in just 1,04,000 rupees. So why we kept our fee small or fee less was because we want to reach to the masses. Why should a student who cannot afford get deprived of good education? That was our mantra when we started this brand, that we want to reach out to every nook and corner of this country and make education affordable for everyone. So the idea is that even at a very moderate speed, if you work, and see, behind all this, whatever I spoke right now, is utmost honesty, utmost loyalty towards your center, utmost loyalty towards your students, utmost loyalty towards the team which you make. So the idea behind everything is that it's not difficult at all. All you need is little bit of passion, little bit of loyalty, and love and respect for the student who come to your center. That's it. Rest we will handle. We are there to support you. It runs in our blood. We've been doing it for past 10 years. About curriculum, about training, about, you just name it. It's in our blood. We've already handled 50 centers and 15,000 students who graduated, and 8,000 students we handle every year. So it runs in our blood. We are not new to this business. We will handle it. So you can be rest assured that if you're joining hands with INSD, you are in very safe hands. Your investment is in very safe hands. And the only thing you can look at is only growth. There is a saying which says, अब सिर्फ ऊपर ही जा सकते हैं, नीचे आने का कोई chance नहीं है. So another thing which I will also like to mention here is that the investment of 16 lakhs, which a new investor makes, let me explain you that. At 6 lakh rupees, you give us 16 lakh rupees for whatever we kind of developed so far. Even if you talk about our UGC affiliation with the university in India, you talk about all the international connections which we have in about 4 countries. You talk about all the curriculum of these 6 premium courses we've developed. So if you calculate it individually, the total amount of that affiliations will not be less than 50 to 60 lakh rupees. We make it available for you at that small amount of 6 lakhs. And the 10 lakh rupees you spend on infrastructure, it stays with you, my dear. It stays with the investor. We are not snatching it. We are not taking it away from you. It stays with you. So the idea is that the 16 lakh rupees which you pay, or the 6 lakh rupees which you pay to us, we give you our heart and soul out of whatever we made so far, or whatever we've developed so far. So that is why we had a winning model, and that is why we became successful in this business, and that is why each of our partners works like a family. वो सब मुझे बड़ा भाई या पिता समान मानते हैं, और प्रणव को अपना बेटा जैसा मानते हैं और अपना भाई जैसा मानते हैं. They say that sir, हम आपको 11 बजे भी रात को कॉल करते हैं, तो ये सोच के फोन नहीं करते कि हम INSD के फाउंडर को कॉल कर रहे हैं. हमें लगता है कोई वहां दिल्ली में बैठा है जो हमारा वेलविशर है और हमारे को सोल्यूशन देगा हमारी प्रॉब्लम का. And that is exactly what we have done so far. So it's not difficult. The investment which you're making is safe. It's very, you can say, I mean, imagine the people in, again, quoting the example of Pune. Why? Because see, you should always look at things which you want to become, or you should always look at examples which you want to follow, right? So why follow somebody who just made 30 students or 20 students in 2 years or 3 years? Why not follow somebody who made 400 students in 3 years? No, they must have done something right. That is why they reached where they reached. And today, if we have 8,000 students enrolling every year, so we might have done something right, which touched the heart of the students, and which will touch the hearts of the parents. And that is why they chose INSD as their career option, or as their future friend, or whatever you call it. So that is it.
Great, Sanjay ji, I think you spoke from your heart, and I would say the testimony is also all the partners that you had all these years. And I remember you mentioned that none of your partners have actually backed out, rather they're taking more franchise partners, they're taking more franchisees. So a single partner is adding more, and to top on that, you also have students who've passed out and they have been absorbed by some of the leading agencies across the globe. So this was very interesting session, Sanjay ji and Pranav. I see a lot of inquiries which have come in, and in some cases I also see cities. So I'll just answer one. Hitesh ji, we're not looking for Delhi because Delhi is completely covered. We might be open for Gurgaon, and we can discuss Gurgaon. And friends, if you are looking at more information, I see some questions on royalty, ROI. We have retail working that we have done at our end, and our teams at Franchise India, through all our I would say partners and offices across all cities. We have 97 cities present through our direct teams and partners who would reach out to all the investors who have come in and also showed interest in the registration for the webinar. We'll reach out to you and hold a special discovery day where you can come have one-to-one discussion meeting also in the coming week. And before we close, Sanjay ji, I will also request, and Pranav, to you also, if there's a closing remark that you have on the overall, or a message that you want to give to all the audience which is present. And then I would request Mr. Mario to take it over.
Yeah, friends, and I also call you as my future family, because that's how we like to address our future partners. that thank you so much for giving us the time and hearing us out. The only promise or the only assurance which INSD can make to all of you is that we always work together for our growth or for our failures. We always work together as a family for whatever we do. And before I end this session or before we close this session, the only thing I would like to mention is that when we started 10 years back, we were not what we are today. But a partner which joined hands with us 10 years back, at that moment, our franchise fee was, I think, about 70 or 80,000 rupees when we made our first center. The first day when a center joined us, we asked them that, sir, what makes you decide to sign this agreement with us? He says, sir, हम आपके ब्रांड को तो नहीं जानते, but आप आदमी अच्छे लगते हो, आप आदमी अच्छे दिखते हो, आप सच बोलते हो और लगता है कि हमारा साथ दोगे. And friends, from that day, I never had to look back. मैंने उसका भी साथ दिया जिसने मुझे 80,000 दिया था, और मैंने उसका भी साथ दिया आज तक जो मुझे 2 करोड़ रुपए रॉयल्टी देता है हर साल. तो हमारे लिए हमारा पार्टनर मतलब हमारा परिवार, हमारा भाई. So that is our way of working. That is the way we love to work. So जितने भी लोग हमारे से जुड़ेंगे या जितने भी लोग हमारे पार्टनर्स बनेंगे, you can be rest assured that आपके साथ कुछ गलत नहीं होगा, सब कुछ बहुत ट्रांसपेरेंट रहेगा, सब कुछ बहुत ऑन पेपर रहेगा. अगर कुछ प्रॉब्लम होगा तो मैं पहले बताऊंगा आपको आके कि दोस्तों या पार्टनर्स ये प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है, बोलो इसको मिलके कैसे सुलझाना है, कैसे फेस करना है. सो वी आर नॉट जस्ट अ फ्रेंचाइज, कहते हैं ना फ्रेंचाइज बांट रहे हैं बस, हम वो नहीं है. सॉरी, अगर करना होता तो अभी तक शायद 200 सेंटर बन चुका होता. हमने बहुत धीरे धीरे ग्रो किया, लेकिन अब हमें पता है कि हम we can take the bigger leap. Why? Because we are well prepared and we are kind of very, you can say, ready to take that pressure of 250 centers in the country, because our systems have been right, our success stories have been right. We have a lot to talk about, we have a lot to show you about. ये नहीं कि हम कोई बात हवा में कर रहे हैं. अगर मैं बोलता हूँ 400 बच्चा है तो 400 बच्चा है. Somebody can come in my office and see their student list. So that is what I'm talking about. We are talking about ground reality. We are talking about actual numbers and we are talking about actual projections. हमने आपको ये नहीं बताया कि आप एक साल में 5 करोड़ की टर्नओवर कर लोगे. हमने ये नहीं बताया कि आप 10 साल में 100 करोड़ बना लोगे. Because that's bullshit. Let me tell you, that's bullshit. And we don't work like that. We talk about real numbers. We talk about reality, and we talk about being real. So that has been our vision, that has been our policy, and that will always remain the same. आज हम 50 सेंटर पे हैं, कल को 500 पे होंगे. ये ऊपर वाले को मालूम है हमको कहाँ जाना है, कैसे जाना है. लेकिन हमारी जो फिलॉसफी है या जो हमारा वर्किंग स्टाइल है वो कभी नहीं बदलेगा. ठीक है, हम इंप्रूवमेंट्स करेंगे, टेक्नोलॉजी में लाएंगे, एडटेक में आएंगे, बिकॉज वी आर नाउ प्लानिंग to start some online programs, the similar courses. So we will only grow from here. We will only grow from here. So thank you so much for attending this webinar. With folded hands, I
thank you very
give
much.
you my good wishes for a very, very happy new year ahead, and our blessings, and may God bless us all in all our future endeavors. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Agarwalji. Thank you very much. You said it all, and it actually goes across. It goes across because it comes honestly from your side. So friends, if you are interested in the franchise opportunity which has been presented, please reach out to our business hotline number. We will immediately put somebody, senior consultant, to reach out to you, understand, and give you a little more elaborate discussion, because this we have done from overall opportunity, but you need to go even more deeper into understanding the opportunity. We are all there at Franchise India. Franchise India on a daily basis serves millions of entrepreneurs across this country, helping them to decide and make an informed decision of what business they should buy. So thank you very much. Thank you for your time, and thank you, Agarwalji. Thank you, Pranav.
Thank you.
Your father didn't let you speak in the end. That's why he's your father.
No, it's good. Exactly.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Ashna, can I request you to kindly take over?
Sure. So thank you so much, Mr. Agarwal. Thank you, Pranav, Gaurav sir, Sonia ma'am, dear friends, for joining in today. We would like to invite you for our Discovery Day, which we have kept on 18th of January, Tuesday. Please book your slot with us to get one-to-one interaction with Pranav as well as Mr. Agarwal. You can reach out to us at our business hotline number. And in case you wish to understand more different kind of the services and franchise options offered by Franchise India team, please connect with us at our different social handles as well as business hotline number. Information we have shared on a screen. And you can also join Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am at their LinkedIn platform. Information and address shared on the screen. And tomorrow under our 12 p.m. national webinar, we are bringing the brand from Punjab, Yoga Sutra. It's a well-known spa brand, which is celebrated by a celebrity personality. So don't miss this chance. Join us tomorrow where Miss Shivani Bajaj will come and talk about this business opportunity. To join the webinar, you have to do registration with us, which is free of cost and very easy to get it done. Please join us at the Facebook page where we have a link for you, as well as connect with us at our business hotline number. Thank you once again for joining in today. Have a very safe day. Thank you so much. Stay safe.
Thank you, guys.
Stay happy. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, sir.
God
Thanks,
bless.
Pranav. Thanks.
Thank you.
God bless. Thank you, Sonia.
Thank you. Thank you.